We know that we are in for a tough 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks here in front of us.
Tonight, Michigan's governor makes drastic moves to curb the spread of COVID-19 after the state tops 10,000 cases.
And in Duluth, testing supplies remain limited. Why healthcare experts are saying they're struggling to get the necessities.
And later, we're hearing from Duluth's new superintendent for the first time what his plans for the future of the school district are.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Bakke.
And I'm Anthony Matt. Thanks for joining us. Today, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer joined many states now by signing an executive order to battle the quickly spreading coronavirus.
This comes after the state saw another 1,500 cases confirmed and 80 new deaths. They now have the third most of both in the country. Governor Whitmer warned today things could get worse, saying Michigan is probably still a month away from reaching the peak of the virus outbreak, and the numbers of those impacted is going to continue to rise.
I have formally declared a state of disaster and sent a letter to Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey and House Speaker Lee Chatfield requesting a concurrent resolution extending the state of emergency and disaster by 70 days. As of yesterday at 3 o'clock, we had 9,334 cases, 337 deaths.
Meanwhile, the state has made some progress on securing much-needed ventilators this week, but with the high amount of patients flooding the hospital, the governor stressed the need for more medical equipment.
We've received 400 ventilators from a strategic national stockpile on Tuesday. I spoke with the president that day as well, and he said more are on the way, and that is great. We are grateful, but we still need a lot more.
We're also learning Michigan students won't go back to school until the fall. Instead, the governor ordered the rest of this school year to be completed online or remotely. All public and private schools are more than halfway through a 4-week shutdown ordered to combat the COVID-19 outbreak. Now it'll be up to each school district to create distance learning programs. Seniors will graduate and other students will advance to the next grade as long as they were on track to do so before the closure.
New at 6, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz commented on the future of Minnesota's school year today. He said there is, quote, a relatively strong possibility that the state's public schools will be closed for the rest of the year. He added that chances of students going back are relatively slim. The state's education department is working on ways for students to distance graduate if it comes down to it.
11 of Minnesota's 18 coronavirus deaths have occurred in long-term care facilities or nursing homes. That news also coming from the governor today. State officials shared there are 47 long-term care facilities across the state that have reported at least one COVID-19 case. The largest cluster is 8 in one facility. Now, State Health Department Commissioner Jan Malcolm says the state has decided to name these facilities. Malcolm says while they value patients' privacy, they hope this will be a move that could help further stop the spread.
With the current level of concern and the risk associated with the COVID-19 pandemic, we believe it's important to balance that value with the equally legitimate value of government transparency and of sharing information with the public to help them understand the course of the outbreak.
Malcolm says they hope to start naming those facilities by tomorrow or Saturday. They will only name facilities with 10 or more residents to help protect patient privacy. We also learned today that Minnesota is seeking a major disaster declaration from President Trump to help deal with COVID-19. Minnesota's health plans have also agreed to waive cost sharing for treatment of the virus.
A federal judge has decided not to postpone Wisconsin's presidential primary, but will give people more time to file absentee ballots. Democrats and liberal groups had asked the judge to postpone in-person voting for Tuesday's election. But the judge said during a court hearing this week that he was uncomfortable overruling state leaders' decision to stick with the election date. He did order that the deadline for counting absentees be extended by nearly a week to April 13th.
While Superior Mayor Jim Payne is asking voters not to mail their absentee ballots because they might not arrive in time. He's asking people to drop them in the box outside the government center instead. Payne says tomorrow is the last day to vote at the center, but they will have polls open on Tuesday along with curbside voting. All right, Dave joined us for a quick look at the weather. Dave, I went for a short walk today and blustery, windy, cold, not the most pleasant of days out there, at least in Duluth.
Yeah, and some rain showers in Duluth this morning, more persistent rain up on the Iron Range, and for the west, they're facing a situation from this low pressure system coming through. So let's take a live local look at what's happening in the McGrath area in Aiken County. Aiken County is one of 3 in our region that's facing a winter weather advisory through 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I'll show you a chart on that in just a little bit, but right now, looking at this live picture of Aiken County, the sky's getting grayer as the low gets closer. So there it is, working towards our region first with the rain showers we saw in spots today, and then a mix and even straight up snow coming in behind the cold front section of the low pressure system, which I think is going to slide through our region on Friday. So the day planner says 90% chance of rain in the morning, 90% chance of a mix at lunch. High temps should happen around lunchtime, and then the cold front portion cools temps down and could shift things over to straight up snow. I'll talk about how much we'll try to stick with a chart on that coming up a little bit later on.
All right, thanks, Dave. The Wisconsin Crime Lab and State Patrol are investigating the discovery of a body in Ashland. Police received a call from a person who discovered the body of a man in a ravine near Industrial Park Road. Due to the location of the remains, the scene was secured to provide the Wisconsin Crime Lab with an undisturbed scene to process. Police say the identity, age, and cause of death have not been determined. We'll bring you the latest as we learn more.
Dr. Nick Van Dielen at St. Luke's Hospital says state leaders have asked them to identify areas that could house additional patients outside of their hospital. One of those areas is St. Scholastica, which he says could be used to house patients that have minor cases of COVID-19 who can't go home but aren't ill enough to stay in the hospital. The decision is driven by the statewide healthcare coalition and the Army Corps of Engineers.
And they have strict criteria that they use to vet spaces as to whether they can be repurposed to provide an alternate care site.
Nothing is set in stone for that plan, but both Essentia and St. Luke's reps say they're preparing to help the Twin Cities hospitals house patients should the pandemic rise to that level.
Both hospitals provided an update on testing today as well. They recently expanded the list of who qualifies for testing. It now includes anyone over the age of 65 and people with underlying health risks who may be more susceptible to the virus. However, tests are still limited at every level, according to St. Luke's officials. Health officials say test manufacturers' supplies are limited right now because tests are being diverted to other areas in the country hit harder. That is impacting both hospitals' ability to test.
We don't want to burn everything up front because we may need those supplies when the surge hits as well.
St. Luke's added they are hoping to acquire more ventilators and are looking for enough equipment to triple their current capacity. And for the first time since laying off 500 staff members, we're hearing directly from Essentia. The hospital made the move on Monday evening, saying decisions like these are being made around the country. Dr. John Pryor with Essentia said part of the reason for the layoffs is to maintain as many care-providing staff to care for critically ill COVID-19 patients should there be a surge later in the year. Employees were laid off due to a decrease in appointments and work in what Dr. Pryor calls non-medical jobs.
Our plan in this furlough is that when we need them to call them back up, our goal is obviously to keep people employed and to use them when we need them. We continue to think and make difficult decisions as this crisis is unfolding.
Employees who were laid off are still entitled to their health benefits and can use vacation days or sick time. Dr. Pryor added he's confident all staff will return.
Meanwhile, the Minnesota Nurses Association has a petition going asking St. Luke's and Essentia to protect local nurses. The petition lays out a few demands. Those include better communication with hospital leadership, proper training, assurance nurses won't be laid off, the right to bargain over any changes to their contracts, and to be part of the planning process. No word on how many nurses have signed it. Hospital leaders addressed the petition during today's press conference. Dr. Nick Van Dielen with St. Luke says they're completely committed to protecting staff and are following State Department of Health and CDC guidelines as far as protective equipment.
Let's take a quick look at the COVID-19 cases in our region. Michigan now has the third most cases in the country with nearly 11,000 and more than 400 deaths. Minnesota has about 750 cases with 18 deaths, and Wisconsin has 1,700 cases with 31 deaths. Worldwide, there are now more than 1 million cases and more than 210,000 recoveries. If you have questions about COVID-19 symptoms and treatment, you can call the numbers on your screen. You can also find these numbers numbers on our website, cbs3duluth.com. Just click the coronavirus tab.
Some people are using all this extra time spent at home to check that project they've been meaning to do for years off of their to-do list. These do-it-yourself projects have left hardware stores trying to keep up with the spike in demand. CBS 3's Leanne Valdez has a story.
Lately, people have been walking around their homes, seeing what they can build, paint, or even fix. At Marshall Hardware on East Superior Street in Duluth, co-owner Steve Marshall says while he doesn't have exact numbers just yet, his business has skyrocketed in the last couple of weeks. Aside from the usual cleaning products, he says people are also getting their hands dirty with gardening tools, seeds, and soil. Another big item? Paint. Marshall says it's all been flying off the shelves.
If you can't be at work, you want to be doing something on your house, improve your home, your apartments, wherever you're living. And
Steve says he expects business to grow as it gets nicer and nicer outside.
Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, what the future of Duluth's school district looks like under new leadership.
And I'll talk about what our future weather will look like. It was warm today at 49, almost 42. We cool down tomorrow, cool enough for some snow. Where will it stick? I'll let you know coming up after our break.
Get your news on the go, the CBS 3 mobile app.
Welcome to Medical Insight, a weekly healthcare feature brought to you by the experts at Essentia Health. Here's your host, Louis St. George.
Today on Medical Insight, Essentia Health cardiologist Ramin Artang tells us about calcium scoring, a preventive test for people age 45 or older.
A coronary calcium score is a CT scan of the chest where we primarily focus on amount of calcium that can be seen in the heart. Calcium comes due to the disease process of coronary artery disease. As we age, some of the plaques that are developing in the vessels, with time they calcify, and that's what we can actually measure with the X-ray that the CT scan is.
This 15-minute scan is critical in determining one's risk for serious health events, such as a heart attack, over the next 5 to 10 years.
Let's say a gentleman in his 50s with significant family history of coronary artery disease get this test and get a relative high score. Having calcium in your heart definitely pushes toward the fact that you need to be on medication, such as cholesterol-lowering medication, because it's proof that coronary artery disease process is going on in the heart. If your cholesterols were a little high, but you have absolutely no calcium in your heart, that would allow the doctor to say, well, there's not much going on here, we can wait. This test is not for people who actually have chest pain symptoms or shortness of breath symptoms. This test is for people who, with no symptoms whatsoever, but who have a risk factor such as diabetes, such as a long-standing history of smoking, such as high cholesterol or high blood pressure, who are afraid there's something bad waiting for them.
For Medical Insight, I'm Louis St. George.
To learn more about this and other health topics, visit essentiahealth.org/medical insight.
I don't believe there's another meteorologist in this area who has the experience and years that Dave has. His experience, that's something that's really special to CBS3.
He worked his way up from janitor up to a weather guy.
He's just like this bastion of knowledge.
Get to know Dave Anderson weekday nights on Live Local CBS 3.
Tonight, Young Sheldon's back with a new episode.
Oh, hey, I'd like to see that.
The house next door to mine is for sale. I'm concerned about who the new neighbor might be.
I will personally make sure that your new neighbor is whoever forks over the most money.
Thank you. Wait.
Why don't you just go out and find a buyer that you'd be happy with?
Excellent. I wonder if Stephen Hawking would like Texas. It's very flat.
Young Sheldon's back with a new episode tonight on CBS.
Now, the CBS 3 Duluth Weather Max forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
slow, plodding, low-pressure system is still trying to track into our region. It teased us with some rain showers here this morning, and then they were more persistent towards the Iron Range. But this system will pack most of its punch to the west of the Twin Ports. Coochiching County, Itasca County, Aitkin County, all facing a winter weather advisory through 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and then points to the west as well. That's where some snow could stick. 1 to 3 inches is what I'm thinking right now. The rest of us might get a trace to an inch to come across, but come Saturday, when it starts to get sunnier and warmer, that snow will hopefully melt off. We're into April. It's time to shake winter away. You know, we're closing in on 5.5 months of winter. I think it's time for spring to finally be allowed to shine. You know, take turns. It's the fair thing to do. Right now, looking at the airport in Duluth, the current conditions include a current temp of 46, relative humidity 61%, east wind 15 miles per hour, and air pressure 1,016 millibars. It will be dropping as our low pressure system comes through. Today leading with its warm front and rain. Tomorrow its cold front comes across, and that's when we get a rain-snow mix that could try to stick up to a couple of inches here, just like I've been mentioning. Current temperatures, wow, 56 degrees in Watersmeet, 57 Ironwood, 58 in Hayward, only 41 by the lake in Ashland, only 38 in Superior, but 48 Moose Lake, 40 to 45 degrees for the North Shore. Then from the Vermilion to the Mesabi Range here, 46 to 55 degrees and 50 around International Falls. Tomorrow, temperatures for the daytime highs will spike around noon, best they're going to get. Then that cold front comes across, and temperatures will start to drop, and that's when we'll egg on the chance for that snow. So right now, current Doppler map shows there are a couple of rain showers trying to work through the Upper Peninsula in northwestern Wisconsin as well. Nothing major, though, and a few in the arrowhead of Minnesota, too. But the bigger part of the low is to the west still. It's already turning into snow in northwestern Minnesota, and do keep in mind, it'll keep coming across here tonight, and then through tomorrow to at least 4 o'clock. And by the time it gets out of here, yeah, to the west, I think we're going to run 1 to 3 inches. The rest of the region on a trace to 1, but it should go away quickly on Saturday. For the weekend, higher pressure takes over. We'll be sunny for Saturday and Sunday before on Monday our next chance of rain comes aboard. We'll show you when that'll happen in more detail here with the 7-day forecast, and it starts with the one for tonight in Minnesota, where low temps will go from 25 to about 36 degrees. 90% chance for the rain, just in case your town's not getting it yet. And into Wisconsin and Michigan, wow, what a range of low temps, anywhere from 25 to 40 degrees. 70% chance for rain in that part of our world, but it becomes 90% chance for a mix tomorrow. Highs anywhere from 29 in the Upper Peninsula to 50 degrees for northwestern Wisconsin down around Hayward. Big range there as well, and a big range in Minnesota too, but a little narrower, 29 to 38, 70% chance for the mix. And then this should all settle down and go away for Saturday and Sunday, and we bask in the sunshine and watch our thermometers rise. Yeah, we weather people do that for excitement. You know, it's as exciting as watching paint dry or grass grow, but temperatures going up to 50 on Sunday. That'll be the best payoff we've had in a while.
I think if we hit those 40s and 50s this weekend, all of the snow in my yard might finally be gone. Well, it's getting down there today, but
I've still got about 70% coverage in my yard, Tony, so I'll wish you the best and hope I follow suit soon.
Yeah, I get all of the afternoon sun in my front yard, so that helps. Thanks, Dave.
For the first time, we're hearing from the next leader of the Duluth School District. The Duluth School Board chose John Magus, who currently works in the Green Bay School District, for the superintendent role last week. CBS3's Emma Quinn spoke with the new hire to learn more about his goals for the district.
Starting in July, John Magus will take over as superintendent for the Duluth Public Schools. One thing he has in mind, creating equity for all students. The current associate superintendent for the Green Bay Public Schools says his past experience includes teaching English language learners and being a principal in several other districts. He wants all Duluth students to have the same opportunities. One place he will aim that focus is at the 2 Duluth high schools. Magus says he plans to listen to those who are already in Duluth, including educators, parents, and students. He wants to know what has been working well for the district and capitalize on those successes. He also wants to get rid of what's not working.
How can we best personalize learning so that every student is engaged deeply? I know this is something that is already being worked on, but how do we make sure that It's not a one-size-fits-all delivery of instruction.
He's also focused on providing more opportunities for special education students and English language learners. Magus currently oversees 40 schools in his role in Green Bay. He says coming to a smaller district, he feels he'll be able to make more connections with students and get more work done.
Thanks, Emma. Well, meanwhile, a fourth candidate has thrown his hat in the ring for a St. Louis County Board seat. Eric Urkela is running for the District 3 seat. Beth Olson currently represents that district, but decided not to run for re-election. Urkela grew up on the Iron Range and now lives and works in Duluth as a business development and technical sales manager. He joins Joe Macker, Noah Hobbs, and Ashley Grimm in this race. A primary will be held in August.
Kelly Hinseth has sports coming up next with some very positive news for one Iron Range defenseman from UMD.
Seize your new Can-Am from Duluth Lawn & Sports, the region's largest power sports dealer.
CBS3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
Garden mats eliminate 90% of the time spent working in the garden and increase a garden's productivity by 10 to 20%. Garden mats let air and water through, but block sunlight. The pre-measured holes make planting a breeze. We help people grow 100% organic vegetables, weed-free. Garden mats give us our summers back to do the things we love. Go to gardenmats.com.
With so many nourishing shades, a color change is easy. Nutrice has 77. From our darkest blacks to our lightest blondes. It nourishes while it colors, plus avocado, olive, and shea. Change a little or a lot. Nutrice, nourished hair, better color. By Garnier, naturally.
At Empire Roofing, we know this coronavirus is scary, but we also know that we are the greatest country on earth. America will prevail. Count on it. Empire Roofing is open for business. We've been deemed an essential service by the government. The integrity of your roof and your home has never been more important. Let the team at Empire Roofing inspect your roof at no charge. We'll not come inside your home or have any personal contact with you or your family. Our website is empireroofingnm.com. We will get through this together.
For breaking stories that impact the Northland most, turn to CBS3.
Catch Eye on Parenting every Thursday at 6 with me, Leanne Valdez, on CBS3.
Get your news on the go, the CBS3 mobile app.
Hi, Minnesota. Governor Tim Walz here. We're in an unprecedented situation in our fight against COVID-19. Please note that the state of Minnesota and our private sector partners are doing everything we can to keep you safe, but we need your help. Minnesotans, stay home. Let's flatten the curve on COVID. Let's make sure that we keep our family, our friends, and our neighbors safe. And if you need more information, please go to the Minnesota Department of Health website. Together, Minnesotans will defeat this and come out better on the other side. Thank you.
Mariah Haberman here from Discover Wisconsin. Join me and the rest of the DW crew every week on this station for all things Wisconsin. Continue the adventure on social media and discoverwisconsin.com for behind-the-scenes content and great Wisconsin giveaways, including a chance to win a free vacation. This week's featured prize package could take you to Sparta. Just visit discoverwisconsin.com for details.
CBS3 is going live at 5, focusing on bringing you hyper-local news and weather. Getting the stories that impact your community the most, right down to your neighborhood.
Town's 130-year-old.
We're live outside the Husky Refinery.
The city of Duluth is getting a new hockey rink.
A new convention center is coming to Virginia.
Special inn here in Finland welcomes the mushers from the...
CBS3, live at 5. Get your news on the go, the CBS3 mobile app.
Welcome back into Sports from Home. You know, there's a lot of days that we're reporting on the cancellation and the suspension of a lot of different seasons and a lot of different teams. But today we are reporting all positive news from the world of hockey here in the Northland. And we'll start with the big news having to do with Scott Prunovich and the Hobey Baker Award. Prunovich has officially made the Hobey hat trick trio of finalists. Prunovich and the other two finalists, junior forward University of North Dakota's Jordan Kawaguchi and Maine junior goaltender Jeremy Swayman, were selected from the initial list of top 10 candidates by the 30-member selection committee. The Hibbing, Minnesota native recently became the second Bulldog to turn pro following this season after his defensive partner Nick Wolf signing a 2-year contract with the National Hockey League St. Louis Blues. Scott is the 9th Bulldog ever to be nominated for the award. The winner will be announced on April 2nd on the NHL Network. April 11th. Since the award was introduced in 1980, no school in the country has produced more winners than that of UMD. Scotty's junior year was certainly his best as a Bulldog. He was the conference leading scorer. He notched 40 points, 34 goals, and 6 assists. He was also the first defenseman ever in the NCHC to lead the conference in scoring and was the first conference player ever to win more than 3 conference awards. Scott also added 18 power play goals. Now, we're going to see Scott depart for the pros next year. He's the second Bulldog this year, the first current Bulldog up until today when forward Justin Richards announced that he will be hanging up his UMD sweater to sign with the New York Rangers. Certainly some bitter, sweet news. Justin Richards is a marquee player who added a lot to UMD's scoring power this season, and he's choosing to forgo his senior season in a Bulldog uniform to sign with the New York Rangers. He's a 2-time National Collegiate Hockey Conference Defensive Forward of the Year, and he signed an entry-level contract with NHL New York Rangers. The last 3 seasons, Richards has not only racked up the numbers to show on paper, he's been a part of UMD's 3 straight national championship runs. Of course, the last 2 he helped win. This past season, Richards racked up a career-high 14 goals, adding 11 assists. The Columbus, Ohio native was a fixture on the UMD special teams, tying for the NCAA lead in shorthanded goals with 3, the most by a Bulldog in 8 years, and 2 shorties shy of the program's single-season record. He also struck 3 times on the power play. Richards took shifts in all 120 games since joining the Bulldog program, and he's got 66 points to show for it. Now, his contract is entry level for the Rangers. He's, again, the second the second player for UMD to depart early this year. Scott Prudovich was the first one. I had a chance to chat a little bit with Richards today, and he just says he will never forget his time in Duluth, and it had such an impact on him as a player, but he's ready for the next chapter. So certainly very exciting to see him, and I'm sure he will not be the first, but we'll have more on that, of course, in the weeks to come. For now, Kristen and Tony, I'm going to send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thanks, Kelly. We'll see you back here at 10. Well, tonight on the CBS3 News at 10, golf courses are not considered essential businesses under Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's stay-at-home order. But a petition circulating online is gaining a lot of attention, and it hopes to change that. Tonight at 10, we'll tell you why some think you should be able to hit the links during the coronavirus outbreak.
Dave, wouldn't have been a very nice day to be golfing today.
No, it probably won't be a good one tomorrow either. Here's our extended forecast. 90% chance for a rain-snow mix. Winter weather advisory over towards Grand Rapids and points west. We could get 1 to 3 inches of snow to stick in that neck of the woods and a trace to an inch for the rest of us. Winter weather for Friday gives way to semi-spring-like conditions, low for Saturday and Sunday. 42 to 50 for the high temps beneath a blanket of sunshine.
All right, we'll see you back here at 10.
Thanks for joining us.
CBS